Welcome in everybody, American Leeds YouTube and Spotify channel. Chris has disarmed me a little bit. I was fired up a little bit before Chris and I have started chatting, but yeah, what a difference like 10 days makes, 8 days makes. I can't think of another content creator. Go back, look at my videos. I was not panicked 7 days ago, 10 days ago, when everyone was on suicide watch after we started. Dan James, we had Shackleton on the wing, we had Jaffe as striker, and we were Ian Preveda in the 10, and we lost a close game to
Birmingham.
Birmingham. I was not panicked. I just was not panicked. I thought that I kept basing myself in reality that at the time, Tyler Adams was still part of the roster, the squad. He wound up leaving, fine. But I was like, you know what? The 4 players that I wanted to hang on to, which was Vober, who left early, Adams, Sinistera, and Nanto. I never thought we'd keep Sinistera. 3 of them were still there. Now it's 2 of them are still here. And I always thought 2 out of those 4 would be massive for us. I go back to Phil Hayes' article, 11 people were going to leave the club. I was always grounded in reality that this was going to be a mass exodus of players. And step 1 of the quote unquote aggressive window meant that we had to be aggressive retaining players. We couldn't throw the baby out with the bathwater, knowing how difficult of an off season it was going to be. It just, you can't have that much turnover in a roster. You can't tell all these players to go bin themselves if they don't want to be here. And somehow, some way, Sinistera is still on this roster as of tonight. Somehow, some way, Nanto is still on the roster, still on the squad. Apologies, I'm an American. But literally, I just said, judge the window when it's over. Judge the window when it's over. Daniel Farke came out and said, judge the window when it's over. And everybody and their dog was so upset at this freaking team and the 49ers, and they were about to protest outside the grounds. It's like, guys, I understand this. Nanta wasn't playing. Sinistera wasn't playing. I get all that. But at the same time, it's like, let Parag Morata, who's dealt with contract negotiations. Yes, it's different. It's different in America. I completely understand, but let this man work and try to pitch and let this new team work. And so once they understood, once this relegation clause window closed, which I think was the 14th or something, 17th, something on a Tuesday, they knew who they were going to keep. Tyler Adams was kind of a late somebody, Brentford went into, or Bournemouth. Yeah, Bournemouth went in for him late. They tried to have, they tried to hold on to him. They knew that he was finally gone. They went fast. Phase 1, they got into phase 2, and then they started to be more aggressive with who they were going to come in. And you're seeing that now. You're seeing the window close. And the next 24 hours, it's big. But I'm out here saying just that I'm kind of saying I told you so. I think there was so much PTSD that this fan base has from regimes in the past. I can't find one. I don't know of one. Ajir was relatively calm. There was obviously us and I think I don't even think we were. I just think we were relatively calm. I felt like in our thread, but
yeah,
I just think like trust. There's a phrase that we use in American sports, and it's going to come true here. Trust me. So it's not a corny phrase. It's a phase that is actual and is used a lot. It's called trust the process. Trust the process. Trust the process that they're building something. They're building towards something. This isn't like a flash in the pan where radrizzani got Bielsa and that was it. And it was like a little flare. shines very brightly, and then it dies because it's unsustainable. This is a sustainable program that they're building. And it's going to be more than just one person. It's going to be an organization deep, wide, so I'm pretty confident. So we're 24 hours in. I've got the squad kind of hashed out, and what's we would call a depth chart in the United States, where you would have with baseball. I basically did a depth chart at each position. All of them are, some of these positions are flexible, but we're 24 hours to go. Basically, I can't do a stream tomorrow night. I'm declaring victory for the 49ers. I think that we will lose a winger. I think we'll probably lose either Nanto or Sinistera in the next 24 hours. And I think we will get 2 more incomings. Hopefully a left back, although I'm kind of nervous about that one. Just because a lot of the writers have said we're not looking at a left back, but the 49ers do move in silence. So maybe we get a left back, and that's fake news. And I probably think we get a winger, an attacking player based on the outgoing. All that said, Chris, I mean, where are you at? A lot of good, and we can talk about the incomings today. And some of, and even Jed Spence that came in a couple maybe he was in yesterday, so it's been going by
it
fast,
seems like ages ago.
Yeah, Jed Spence,
I know.
Sinistera and Jed Spence are on the squad as we speak right now. So
if you were to ask anybody at the beginning of this, that what if we got Jed Spence and Joel Pirro? They would have, and we got them. We got both of them. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying just those two equates to like overall like 10 out of 10. Of course not. But the fact that the ambition it took, right, to get those two, I think says a lot. But I think so. For me, I look logically at this. Like you said, like I think the strategy was there to retain players. Wait till late in the window and go for it. But I don't think it went as planned, right? So I think logically I was fine. I was calm, but like in my heart, like there was, of course you're waiting. There's so much time that goes by where there's just silence. And I think emotionally I got caught up in that too, where it's not that I didn't think they were doing anything. I believed in the plan and I believed in them. It was just so hard to wait. So it was frustrating, I think, more than anything. I didn't lose trust, but I'm a newer fan too, right? So pleading ignorance, like I'm coming in there probably a little naive, just believing the owners are going to do the right thing. I don't know if it has any, relation to being having been exposed to this ownership group in the NFL. I think that probably helped me a little bit, where maybe others aren't as familiar with them. And and they've been burnt in the past, right? So many owners that have come and gone in the club. And so you can understand the mistrust and not having full belief, maybe as much as maybe myself or maybe others like me. But yeah, no, I truly logically, I felt like they had a good plan, but I don't think it went as planned. I think with the Nanto thing, with the Cine thing, is all these clauses started coming out. You saw frustration with the players. You saw wanting to leave.
They were like, the 49ers are culpable.
They were there's got to be a scapegoat, right? There has to be. You have to be able to blame someone.
But it's like they were not privy. They knew some stuff, but they didn't know anything. And But
there was adversity. You have to admit there was some adversity through the window. And I think when we look back on this, the signing of the summer will be Farke.
Yeah.
Had we had a different manager, to navigate that adversity, to come in,
they had to get that one right. That was the slowest.
Yeah. And exactly. But like, look at what he faced coming in, with the players wanting to leave, with those contracts he had to deal with trying to build a new culture that changed the mentality of the players from having gone, months without winning a game to suddenly believing they could get results and they could put together a good squad. He said that right off the bat. That would be his objective number one, was let's get back to the mentality of winning. And he said be patient with, because these guys have been through it. So he had to go through that, and then he had players revolting, trying to leave.
Yeah.
And just being able to draw a firm line, draw a solid line, with these players. I think he set the tone. And then you have Parag with the contract saying, no, Summerville, I think was it Brentford that came in for Summerville today for 20 million? And they were like, no way.
He's telling the same thing. You're not for sale. Now,
so I think there's a new culture being established. And I think Farke, I just think he gets a lot of credit.
He does get a lot of credit. And I think he was the one that took the longest before the takeover went through to the EFL.
Yeah. This could have went sideways if it had been any other manager.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think they
could have went sideways.
Right.
Yeah.
Burnley. Thank you, Jack. Shout out to Jack. 12
Jack.
in the building. Go ahead.
Love Jack.
Smash the like if you can. Lightly graze the like. But yeah, I guess I'm reflecting on whatever. Football fans are fickle. Football is a game of opinions, all that stuff, all those cliches. But I do think that, with 24 hours to go, things can happen. And the other thing, I'll tell you, not the elephant in the room, but what's going to happen here in the background is that the Saudi window is open 20 days past the Premier League or England's or Europe's window. So they could come in and be like, we want to fill out our rosters, and Sinistera, here's $50 million, but at least we're getting 50 million or whatever, like now we're going to get some ridiculous, I'm sure that they have more money than God, whatever, the PIF, petroleum fund. But so that could happen, but at least we're going to get, hopefully.
I didn't realize that could happen.
I think that can happen. I was reading or hearing something about that because they were talking about Mo Salah's possible transfer, and I think Jurgen Klopp came out and said, well, this is BS because, they can still come in for him after the window's closed. And Gotcha. It's not fair that, that they have another 20 days. So Phillips says, morning, guys, with a day to go in the window, pat on the back for the interim director of football. Rejecting 20 million for Summerville is a big statement to Burnley.
It was Burnley, not
I mean, Brentford. Do you honestly, if you're Summerville, look, buddy, look, son, lad, whatever you want to say, you're probably going to get relegated. Like Burnley, I don't think Burnley, Everton, what's the other two? Luton Town and Sheffield United are going to be the four. It's going to be a great season to be a mid-table club. I think that the mid-table teams are going to be able to be really experimental towards like March, April, May, because they're going to probably know that the 3 or 4 teams relegated will be pinned for relegation. Anything can happen on deadline day, says Jack. Absolutely. Anything can happen. And oh my gosh, it's this guy's avatar.
I told Jack, I secretly think he is Angus. That's Angus's burner count.
The Angus burner.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can present this. This is the roster or the squad as it stands. People are like thumbing me down as I say roster. I made a mistake. Let's see if I can present here. Okay. And this is the 4-2-3-1. Names kind of run into each other. But is it possible that our championship squad can look better than our Premier League squad? I mean,
it does.
Look at these. Like, this is kind of, it's just better. This looks better. All right. Perot, Bamford, who's injured. This is as it sits right now. Mateo Joseph. I mean, again, we had Patrick Bamford up there. I think that was it. And then Mateo Joseph was a kid. like it was just Patrick Bamford. So we have an out and out number 9. I love that he conserves energy. If you kind of watch him, it looks like he's kind of like a true number 9 in terms of a goal scorer. He's not a pressing number 9 that wastes energy. Like he just, when the ball comes to him, he's going to make kind of dangerous movements and he's going to get in dangerous positions. Nanto,
he can play on the wing too. He's left wing.
Yep. Nanto, Dan James, Rutter, who can also are trying to play the 9. They're giving him some looks at 9. Gelhart, Preveda at 10, Luis Sinistera, Crescencio, Summerville. Now, look, all these are under, as I understand, Farke's system. All of these are kind of interchangeable, really, except for the 9. The 9 is kind of has to be an out and out 9. But these guys all float in and out of different positions. I saw, and they like to do this with last year a little bit as well, but I saw Summerville over on this side with Nanto and Nanto creeping into the 10. Like I saw this is all kind of fluid. So, I mean, we'll see all these guys everywhere.
They'll overload on one side sometimes. I mean, you'll see them all on one side.
In the holding 2 or the 2 in the 4-2-3-1, Ampadu. Probably Kamara does take Archie Gray's spot, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I'm hearing Gruev too could play a double pivot with Ampadu. Yeah, potentially. I'm interested to see what he does with it.
Gruev here. I mean, I mean, again, these are kind of can be changed around. Darko Gyabi, I think, is more of a ball playing midfielder. Lewis Bate is probably going to go on loan, but this again, as of right now, this is what I believe the squad is looking like. I mean, you just love the depth here. You're starting to see squad building and depth. For me, this is the left back scenario. That's still
the big hole, right?
It's the big hole. It always has been. I mean, I don't even know if Firpo's on the squad. The guy's basically collecting a check. This happens in baseball, American baseball a lot. It's like a guy pulls a hamstring and he's out on the DL, the disabled list they call it. He's basically just getting paid to be out. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with Firpo. I don't know if you see him, but my worry, and I said this in a tweet, is that they actually play Jed on this side because Bill Aylin's. I think there's some politics. Bill Aylin's got the captaincy. Like, how do you kind of put Bill out to pasture? Who gets the armband? They put the armband on Pascal in the cup game. It's never really worked out. I think there's still something there that's got to be massaged. I don't know how you do it. Chris, what do you think?
I think in the short term, Shackleton at the left back, unless they get one. I mean, even if they get one tomorrow, they're not going to be ready for Saturday. So I'm thinking about Saturday. I think Shackleton on the left.
You like
could be Ayland. Yeah, exactly. I think Spence, he's had a couple training sessions, but he hasn't really played this season a lot. So he may need more time for Saturday, but you could see Ayling start on Saturday, and then maybe Spence comes in as a sub. But I think Spence will take that position. I don't know how, because it's interesting because everyone's saying we need to sign a left back. We did actually sign a left back in Sam Byram. I'm not saying he was signed to be the number 1.
I don't think he's an out left back.
Yeah,
Byram on there? Did I put Byram on there?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, okay.
So I just don't know. I mean, they did go for. I mean, they recently went for a left back on loan. I can't remember his name. He just got picked up, I think, by
they tried to. They've
Sheffield
been
United
to look at a left back.
But that fell through.
They do move in silence. They do not.
There's got to be a couple out there.
There's got to be
on their board.
They're on their board. Exactly. That's another like, you know what I mean, in the war room we talked about last week.
Right.
It's on their board, and they absolutely, I think, have like a war room and a board set up somewhere in like Elland Road or Fort Barge that they're working.
But yeah, I think everything. I mean, it is amazing. You started off from the beginning of this podcast saying, what, 10 days ago, 8 days ago? Look how bleak it looked.
Oh,
And
it
now just to look at the names on paper, it's pretty
it looked
remarkable.
bleak, but at the same time, I was like,
just the lineup
this
though.
Hour, I just kind of goes like, okay, as of right now, Wilfred Nanto is still a Leeds United player. He has not left. I know all this stuff about and people, I got it, or as of right now, it's like Luis Sinistera is still a Leeds United player. He's not didn't play in the game, but as of right now, he's a player, and we'll see what happens when we actually get some concrete, because you can't trust the Twitter ITKs. You can't really trust anything because no one knows, what, and no one knows it on this stuff, because the 49ers really don't leak. Leaks come from agents and from other opposing clubs. So
yeah. Well, deadline day is like, okay, another foot or NFL reference, but it's the Hail Mary time, right? So
yeah,
that's the only thing I can think of is a bigger club with the money they're throwing Hail Marys, and they could come in for Sinistera, potentially Nanto, but I think more Sinistera.
Yeah,
but because there could be desperation happening, and
yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's been pretty clear for clubs that have acquired that, we're not selling them. And I don't know what the price is that they put on Sinistera, but I imagine it's pretty high. But it could take a big club that's desperate.
We should be putting clubs over the barrel at this hour. Like, if you really want this guy, you're going to have to pay. Everybody else is.
Yeah.
It's the 25th hour or whatever, 23rd hour.
I think there's a good chance they all stay. Yeah.
He's gone. What I'm saying, good point.
Exactly.
Just to bring up Raz, I was one of the first people to say Raz out. I'm tooting my own horn tonight. I said Raz out 1 year ago. Tomorrow night, I said Raz out. I got a lot of stick for it. I was called a plonker, a plastic American fan. I was called all this stuff because it was apparent to me that Andrea Radrizzani did not have the capital to be a Leeds United owner.
He came out and said so. In November.
And he came out and said so. And just so everybody knows, I didn't become a Leeds United fan when Jesse Marsh walked in the door. I was a Leeds United fan under Gary Monk, which was 7 or 8 years ago. I found the club because I started researching English football teams. Sorry. And I just love one club, City, incredible kit, incredible ground, incredible history. I was like, I'm all in. I love this club. I don't know. And they were in the championship. So I've gone through Hecking finished bottom, and Thomas Christensen, that dog season, and Bielsa, and the beautiful football, and all of that. I guess what my point is saying, and Massimino was the owner and all this stuff, and the decapitated badge, all that stuff.
You felt entitled to be able to have an opinion about Rats, right?
I did, and I just said,
you should.
I went through, and I didn't, and I say all this because as bad as Massimino was, he wasn't Ridsdale. He wasn't like some of the PTSD that guys before me and gals that before me have. I don't think but I was willing to say, hey, he just doesn't have the capital to kick us on in terms of taking losses, making multiple bids, putting multiple bids on multiple players. You could see Orta and Raz fall in love with players. And if they didn't get the player, they didn't have a plan B because they couldn't make multiple bids, because it's kind of a risk. Like, you're making bids on players, you're working these things out. And if both of them get accepted, you're left holding the bag that you have to take these players on. Does that make, that's what it seemed like Gapco, he can't walk, and they couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time. That's all I guess I was saying. That's clearly what was going on at Elland Road before.
Well, my lasting
the
impression
49ers
of Rod's,
takeover. Go
my
ahead.
lasting impression of him was
Twitter.
just a gambler, just a gambler. Like, he knew a big pay. If they were able to stay up, there'd be a big payout for him, and he gambled, and he made a lot of just rash decisions.
Yeah.
Not a lot of strategy. Just
And if you're the owner
throwing
of the
stuff
club,
against the wall and hoping it sticks, and it didn't. It didn't work. He lost.
If you're the owner
Lost a lot of money.
He did lose a lot of money. Don't engage with the fans. You have more to lose engaging with fans, especially angry fans that, like, you know what I mean? Don't try to post and overpromise. It's always underpromise and overdeliver. That's what the 49ers are. They don't say anything because they don't want to set expectations. They're working hard behind the scenes. They're just promising you they're going to work hard. And that's really all you can ask for, because, you know, stuff changes daily. I mean, every day, hourly, probably by now. Orders recruitment was horrendous, says Jack. Please put Mateo ahead of Bamford. Hey,
not a bad idea, Mark.
Not a bad idea. Yes, Mark, agree.
They're both hurt though, so it doesn't matter where you put them right now.
I guess Philip liked what you were saying. Wait for Firpo to get fit and then sell in January, says Philip. Mark says, have to believe with all they have proven in this window that Farke and the 49ers address the left back tomorrow. I think so, Mark. I think so.
If they can do,
is not prim quality, but he's outstanding so far. I think you need a utility player. What were you going to say, Chris? I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, if they can find the right profile, I don't think they'll reach. I don't think they're the type that'll reach. You know, I think that they've been really patient and they've gotten the right profile player. I don't think it's a time to like abandon that strategy and just reach to have a body come in. So I think it has to be the right profile, and I don't think they'll overpay what the value is either. So I do believe they're out there, though. I agree with you that there's a good chance they'll get one. I'm hopeful they will, but I just don't think they'll reach.
Mark says, agree. Philip could argue he was our best player against Ipswich. Yeah, I think Shackleton is. I think you need a squad, Swiss Army knife for promotion. I think you need a Stuart Dallas. I think you need a guy like that in your team to be successful. I think they just come in handy. I don't know.
He's like
we're in for a few shockers. I don't know what you mean by that, Mark, but I think that
that's a good thing.
I think hopefully it's a good thing. Yeah, I think I think we're going to see one of the. I think if you look at the winger area, like Mateo could play out wide, Jorginho could play out wide, Preveda can play out wide. You know, I think they sell either Nanto or Sinistera for a hefty price tomorrow. And I think they have someone coming in. That's my hunch. Just a hunch. And I think they get another. I think they get a left back and maybe a 10. I think 2 come in tomorrow. And I think one, either Nanto or Sinistera goes, or Summerville. One of those 3 go, and I don't think it'll be Summerville. I think it'll be probably Sinistera.
I'm going to say they keep everybody.
Ooh.
Well, all the names you mentioned.
I like that. That'll be great.
And I think they'll get 2 come in.
Wow.
A left back and an attacking midfield. That's a 10
out of 10 window. That is a 10 out of 10.
That's what I'm going for.
That's what happens.
I really do.
10. I literally 8 days ago, 10, whatever it was, people were on suicide watch. They were freaking out. And I didn't know the 49ers would come this good, but I just knew, hey, they haven't been sold yet.
They still
the
have
price
money.
comes in,
They
they're
still have
not-
money to spend.
Remember we said, Chris, like, I mean, I'm like kind of early celebrating whatever, like tomorrow can be I don't know, a bad, I don't think it will be, but we were sitting here going, we don't know much, but we know Parag Morata is not going to be, he's going to play hardball with anybody that he can have any kind of leverage on. If there is a relegation clause, unfortunately, he's got to he has to hold that. His hands are kind of tied. But if he's not going to be, no one's going to do anything over on this guy. He lives to negotiate. I mean, it's not that he what was it? I
Does it in his sleep.
This stuff, all that stuff was corny to watch, right? Cringe to watch, but he's such a nerd. He's such a nerd. I think he went to Stanford. He's the guy that goes to Stanford Business School, and you sit in like a role play discussion and you try to and you negotiate stuff with him, and you go walk out and you're sharing with the class like, yeah, we didn't get any business done because this guy didn't want to play. He didn't want to play ball, and it's like he holds firm. It would be very difficult to be an agent around him. You know what I mean? Like you'd walk away getting nothing,
I was watching a video about how just the transfer market works. It was an Arsenal fan, but he's something to do with his career. He had a lot of background. So he was explaining kind of more behind the scenes. And he was saying how, the clubs the most successful clubs are the ones that when they say no, everyone knows they mean no. There's not any wiggle room, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that people want to work with. They're the ones people have the most respect for. Mm-hmm. And I think, we've seen that from the 49ers. I think Brighton's another good example, just following the Caicedo saga of the last year and a half. Same thing, they had big clubs coming in for him. They're like, no, not
Mark
for sale.
Says, that he meant like a last minute Spence loan deal, left back loan deal. Sorry about being behind on the comments. We're just trying to get everybody's comments in, and then, but yeah, I think a loan deal is where they were kind of unfortunately exploited because of Horta. I think it's an area where they could exploit because it's cheap to do, and we're going for promotion. So I think you're right, Mark. I think a loan is a way that they can continue to wheel and deal. Looks like there's some back and forth. Ken says, "Hey up, Phil." Phil says, "Hey up, bro." Kid says, "Hey, Chris, facts. I got a not a millennial. I am an elder millennial. I have a
I meant Gen X.
Gen X. I could be baby Gen X. I'm right on like the border of like if you look up the thing, the decades or whatever it is. But I have a Gen Z I work with kind of loosely, and he says two things. He always says word. He says word, but he says it like 1,000 different ways, which I used to say. I used to say like,
that's an old,
but he says
that's an old 80s, 90s hip hop reference.
Yeah. He's either says word, like he's acknowledging you, like he'll just be like word, or it'll be like a question, word, like he'll be like it'll be like a word, and I'll be like word. It's like so
that's
funny.
His only word.
And then he says facts. So Chris says yes, Chris, facts, or it'll be like big facts, big.
So maybe we're thinking
that was truthful.
Is Kenneth maybe 21?
Yeah,
22?
No, I don't think so. I think maybe he works around Gen Z.
Yeah, we both do.
Malcolm Van says, "Who would you have at the club? Who would you have at the club's players like Shax or players like Cock? Robin Cock? I'd rather have Shax. Robin, he just had Man, he had a resting like bitch face, right? He didn't look happy last year. No. Chris isn't touching that.
He responded well when Vober came in. I think it calmed things down for him because he was surrounded by chaos. And I think when Vober came in, it calmed things down. He started to play a little bit better, but then Vober got hurt. It went to hell again. I think he gave up. I think a lot of them did. But
I almost want to watch some of those games back to just be like,
really?
Yeah, just to be like, what the heck was going on? I don't want to watch the Spurs game. That was depressing.
I can't watch the second half of the season. It's too sad. No, it's too recent.
Great comment, Ken. I do want a clean sheet. I was like, this cup game, I kind of wanted a clean sheet. And I think he started, this is just 2 cents on the cup game. I think he started Ampadu and Gray, who have a lot of miles on him early this season, because he wanted a good base to work with. And then once we went up a goal or two, probably is what he was thinking, he would have put on Gyabi, he would have put on Bate, but we were never up. So he couldn't put those guys on. And I think the holding midfielders, like he wanted them to still kind of run the operation. And he just never could put on the young guys to see what they were made of, unfortunately, because I think he wanted to win that game. Obviously,
thank God it was a throwaway, because can you imagine if that was a league game and we played that well and didn't score?
It also speaks to me just that we need Perot. Perot would have just been jogging into spaces and tapping the ball in. Like he wouldn't have been freaking. Like Joel Perot knows how to score goals. It's not all about like whipping 20 balls in.
Yeah, I mean,
all these shots and stuff. It's about
keeper made a lot of good saves, hit the post a couple times, hit the bar.
But sometimes it's just about passing the ball into the net and being in the right spot. I just think like that was an example of not having a number 9 and like some really talented players, but not like anybody that was cool
finishers.
We needed a cool head in the front 4 there for me. And that game was probably over. And I don't know.
Well, going back to left back. Yeah. But going back to left back, I think, again, like you saw it, even in the cup game with Helda.
Yeah. I never thought Helda was it.
I think that
people thought he might have been an answer, but
it does worry me if we don't get one, because those positions are so vital in the system.
Yeah. I think we need a left back.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for 16 months, 14 months. It's actually the first podcast that I did with Chris was, do we really need a left back? I think it was like 16 months ago. I'm just trying to keep it real, says Ken. Story with transfers. Facts. Story with transfers. You want to know the story? I don't know the story. I'm 40. Hey, Ken, I'm 40. So
I'm 40s too.
40s. Yeah. I say if they were going to sell, would have accepted the bid for Summerville or Cine or so. I think we hold on to everyone and possibly one more or two, possibly O'Reilly.
Oh, okay. That would be great.
Yeah. Mark says the only thing we know for certain is that Gen X is greater than millennials and great Gen Z. So I won't give my birthday, but apparently we are elder millennials, Gen Z, Gen X. Is the last generation to grow up without the internet, like that remembers a time without the internet, and I do. I remember I remember the old school communications. I remember my grandmother's phone in the kitchen, wall phone in the kitchen that you could literally it had a cord on it that you could take around the living room.
A 90-foot cord so you could talk to your girlfriend at night. Yeah. In privacy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Something like that.
Probably somebody was outside the door, but Ken's cool and Leeds through and through.
Cool.
All right.
Ken is cool. So I have a question.
Cool.
Alex, who do you think, going back to that depth chart, who's leaving? Besides potentially the two big ones that you mentioned.
Two big ones.
There's got to be other guys going out.
Loan, like the babies on loan.
Yes, we have to get rid of some of them.
I think maybe Joffe, which disappoints me because Joffe, people call him that's what his I think family calls him, Joe Gelhardt. He was a big prospect in the COVID season with Bielsa. Bielsa's the first year in the Prim. He was scoring like 3-4 goals in the U23s at the time, now the U21s. And he came up the year before Marsh, and he did some good bits. He was kind of like this little guy. He was very good in the box. He had some very good he kind of knew
timely goals. He had some timely goals, especially avoiding relegation.
Timely goals, but like when he was in form, it was like a different player when he got in the box because it was so difficult to get the ball off him because he was so small and so stocky. He was impossible to get the ball. Like he couldn't go down. He wouldn't go down. He was very physical, and he's got a heck of a shot on him too. I mean, he should have scored 2 nights ago or whatever. So, anyways, I think Joffe does go out on loan somewhere. Somebody said
Aveda.
I went on I just happened to go on a Sunderland watch along, and I was like, hey, how's Gelhardt doing? And they were like, we're killing his confidence. They were like, he's terrible and we're killing him. And I was like, damn, that sucks. But if you're a good enough player, like you don't need anything around you. You just shine. You know what I mean? Like, I just felt like he's fallen off. I don't know what the deal is, but I think he goes out on loan, probably to another club. Cody Drameh is at the club, at this hour part of the squad. Obviously,
I think he's gone.
He's on his last, 12 months at the club. I think he does go out probably on loan. I would loan him out to the Premier League. I just think you get more money and, or you sell him to a Premier League club.
You think they'd take him?
I think Burnley was interested in him, and then he helped get Luton promoted. So I think he is. I just go ahead and give him to a Premier League side, and does Jed Spence? Did he make him expendable? Probably. I don't know. There was
I think he's gone.
The coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, NFL reference, we're American fans, so we can say that, but he would always say, when you get an opportunity in this league, you better perform, you better play, you better perform, you better grab it. And he's had opportunities. Has he had the perfect opportunity at his position this year? In front of a crowd. Has he had the perfect opportunity at Leeds United? Maybe not. I mean, his one opportunity in the Premier League was against Arsenal, against Martinelli. Martinelli has embarrassed a ton of fullbacks. So I don't know. I think he's good. I think there's a player in there. I think he's going to look, and then the other side of me is like, it's just a difficult one too, because Bill Ayling got a 1-year contract because he played well against scum in the Premier League, and he shouldn't have never gotten that contract. If Bill wasn't at this club, Cody would probably still be part of this squad. That's the other part of it to me that is like, I really don't want to give up on the player. I'm in two minds. I'm like, yeah, he had a chance, but also I think there is a player in there. I think we're going to wind up regretting it. By the way, who was the best left back in the Ipswich Town game? I mean, to me, it was, my mind's going blank.
Shackleton.
No, it was, sorry. This is what happens when you work a full day and then have a. Our form Leaf Davis. And he was a former Leeds United player last year. And I think, I just am like, just stuff like that bothers me. When you have no depth, when you have zero depth on your squad and you let these players go, it actually kind of bothers me. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm waffling, but that is a soapbox. I guess I've kind of figured out. So I don't know. What do you think? I think Gyabi could be loaned out. Lou Bate is like got to be loaned out. Go ahead. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think Bate probably goes. I think JB. I mean, with the 4 now that we have, that's a solid rotation. So I think we need JB to go out. He still needs to develop. You can see the minutes he's got, he hasn't really looked very solid. He's had moments, but just not consistent yet. But I think he could develop. I think he's a good player. But I think he needs to go and play more regularly for sure. Well, he's been the last couple of years, he's been, playing with the under 23s, but not really getting time with the first team.
I like that we told the team that came in for him to go pound salt.
Yeah.
I think, and plus he was part of the Calvin Phillips deal, and it makes us look just silly if we don't, retain Darko Gyabi. He was featured a lot in the kit release. I just think the club does like him. I think he probably does need to get game time. My problem with him, and probably Farke's problem with him, is that he doesn't track back and he doesn't do some of the work defensively, which I don't know. I think I saw that like in the cup games that he was doing last year. He got way too far forward.
Yeah, I just think his positioning was off. I don't think it was a matter of, to me, it wasn't a matter of effort. It was just not knowing where to be in some of those transition moments. But you have to imagine if you get a shot, you're going to give it your all. It's hard for me to believe he wouldn't give the effort. I think he was just confused and maybe just not. I mean, he just hasn't had a lot of first team minutes, right?
Right. There's a player in there.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I'm not worried. I think we'll get a couple.
A up is Yorkshire lingo. Kin's talking the Leeds language. Is it A up or I up? Or what am I saying? I need to probably Google Yorkshire.
I think it's the greeting, right? It's the Yorkshire
it's a greeting. It's like hello, right?
It's like what's up? We say that all the time.
We're gonna be clipped up, man. That's the point, Chris. Last season, the better team. We were the better team, but couldn't score. Jesse went and did football, went downhill. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We were Bamford puts away chances. We're still in the Premier League. Hate to be that kind of harsh, but 4 managers, same result for Drameh. Yeah, I agree with that, Mark.
I honestly don't.
Managers.
Yeah, I don't rate Drameh.
You don't?
No.
I think he can get up and down the pitch. I think he is pretty good on his feet. I think he's better than Ayling. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't know. I hate to be like a drama.
He's got skills. I think he's got skills. He even showed it in the last game. I mean, I was watching the highlights and he made some good passes. He made a real long pass. He had a nice flick over the winger's head and he retained possession. So there was a few moments, but I think the margins are so small. It's like you can't
switch off.
You can't make a mistake. You just can't. It's the consequences are too big. And if you're mistake prone, if you have, yes, I mean, you can have good moments, but if you're, if equally you're having bad moments, the bad moments are always going to outweigh those good moments. When you're a defender, especially, right?
Right.
So it's just magnified when you're back there. You just, as a defender, there's so much pressure. You can't make a mistake because it can lead to a goal. So I just think he has too many of those in him.
This is a good question that Gareth from One Leeds, our American counterpart, who we should probably have on the show.
I was thinking about that. There's a lot of Americans that are super, super committed, super knowledgeable, and really good takes.
This is a good question, though, and we're going to steal it because I just logged into X/Twitter to see if there was any just news breaking. If we signed a top-notch left back but lost Sinistera, would you still feel great about the window?
Yeah, I'd feel good about it.
Would you rank it a 10 still?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't rank it a 10, but I still think, like as you said, I think it's a good window. I mean, and I would probably, I don't know, but I wouldn't.
The quality still.
I wouldn't
that front line still.
The squad. I just wouldn't feel worse about the squad. I would probably feel the same because if we got a top-notch left back, that means you have to build from the back. So if we have a decent back line, I mean, the fact that we have like 5 clean sheets in 50 games is just absurd. We need to start having clean sheets, and that can't happen when the back line has got 2 really weak points, which is the fullback. Yeah. So I guess I wouldn't feel worse about the squad, but I would be reminiscent. I guess it wouldn't be a 10. A 10 is keep Sinistera and sign a top-notch left back. I mean, and then it's like to find top-notch. We're not going to sign a Premier League kind of left back. We're going to have to sign a top-tier championship left back.
I want that attacking midfielder.
I think there was a GM in baseball that always used to say a catcher, like the catcher is the hardest position to recruit for.
Yeah.
Because all the catchers are like either really good defensive catchers,
right,
or they're just an extra bat and they're terrible at like throwing to second and all this other stuff. Receiving, there's all these like nuances of that position. And I think the same thing about a 10. Like a 10 is you have to be creative, but then you also have to do the defensive work.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you've got to be an all-around football player, understand the tactics at a deep level. You have to understand you have to kind of like be a smart player. You can't just be like Tyler Adams, like a really good 10 out of 10, like, and tackle a ball winner. Like you've got to be so many different things. You got to be like have all these different tools.
All right.
It's so hard to get a 10. It's probably harder to get a 10 than a 9. So,
but we need it.
Yeah, we need it. We do. We've needed it for a long time.
We don't have that player that, in this system that can be creative with the ball. But also come back and play defense.
Yeah. The only way you do it is if it would be a harder job for Farke, but he would have to cultivate a 10.
Yeah.
Cultivate a 10 in that system.
Right.
So,
but yeah, I think if we got a left back, we lost Sinistera. I mean, I think it obviously would give us the best chances to get promoted, finish in the top 2. You'd have to. I think the odds would go up tremendously. If we retained all of them and got a left back, I think we're automatically considered obviously top 3, but I would say top 2. Without Sinistera, I still think we're good. I still think we have a good shot. But the other thing is, like, Sinistera gets hurt all the time. So, like, let's say you do retain him. I'm not trying to jinx anything here, but there's never a guarantee he's going to make it through the whole season. So you have to have faith in the other players that have been brought in and that are around to do the job as well, you know?
Absolutely. 23 of you in the building. If you all hit the like, kicks the algorithm on, lets more people know about the channel. Purpose of the channel is just to have a chat about Leeds United. When you get to the 1,000 mark in YouTube, you can monetize yourself and, I don't know, get super stickers and memberships and all this stuff. I have no desire to do that. The only desire I have is to have a chat about Leeds United with Leeds United fans. So, yeah, please hit the like. It's the only thing you can do, or throw in the comments and let me know, like, let us know what you think about our takes. This is an interesting post. Totally Leeds says, so the 49er, by the way, talk about, I like Totally Leeds. Follow Totally Leeds at Totally Leeds on X or Twitter, whatever it's called now. It's a good account. They had something, they were just really, I don't know, disappointed, I guess, in the window a while ago, but now they've said, so the 49ers have rejected $20 million for Summerville, $25 million for Nanto, $25 million for Ruter, and refused to sell Sinistera, just proving they mean serious business. And then it's got the picture of Parag Morata, like, kind of like looking off into the distance on the stairs. Have you seen that picture?
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's the one. It's the. It's like the like if he was running for office. Picture of Parag Morata.
Oh, okay, yeah, like his.
You know what
portrait.
I'm saying? Yeah, it's like a portrait of him,
it's
but
like the staff portrait.
Yeah. Well, it's like that. It's not like a staff portrait, I guess, but it's more. It would be like, I don't know. They, like, whenever politicians run for office, they're always like looking off into the distance. They're always like, you know, looking like there's no camera there. They just have to be as a deep gaze, you know, this shot. So
my dogs are barking. Sorry.
What do you got? What kind of dogs you got?
Wheaten Terrier. 2 of them.
Terrier. 2 of them.
Irish. They're Irish dogs.
Are they
soft coated?
Purebred?
Yep. They're they don't shed. So if you're allergic to dogs, it's great.
Hopefully that's why you tune in, Kenneth. Baseball references. If we lost Cine at the beginning and still signed 10 new players, it wouldn't feel as bad as signing 10 and losing him on the last day. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Mark. If we get a fee for him, if we get like 35 for him, I'm okay.
More. 50.
Mark says 50. I'll take it. That's more than KP, I think. Mark says, hit the like, question mark. You both talk calm sense. I'm not even going to subscribe, which I don't to the doomsday ranters. I'm even going to subscribe. Oh, Mark. Oh, okay. Very good. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks,
subscribe,
Mark.
Man. I just want to have a conversation about Leeds United. I honestly just want to talk about Leeds United. That's why I started the channel, so I don't go crazy. If things change, I'll let you know. But this is like the bar to me. Sometimes I do have a beer with me, but very rarely. I did last time with you, Chris. But I want to keep. I've got some crazy stuff. Jir invited me on to his channel. I just haven't been able to do it because I was going to plan to do last night. By the way, all the channels, I'm not going to go live tomorrow night. Every single channel will be doing, I think, a window close. I do recommend Gier's channel. Go check Gier out. Gier will have Michael on. If you ever saw my podcast from like, he hasn't been on in a minute, but Michael will be on.
Miss Michael. You haven't had him on for a while.
He's he's a busy man too, but he'll have Michael on, Michael Maynard, the Canuck. I recommend Gier's late night watch. It'll be like 24 hours from now as the window closes. But I'm sure all the guys and gals will be doing some sort of late night window close. I can't do it. My wife got called away to work, and I got a stage 5 Klinger 3-year-old that he will be at 5 p.m. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He'll just be in the background, like
feeding time.
It used to be I could throw on a little Sesame Street, like at volume 10, and I could do something and he would be kind of in the background but I could mute him out. Now it's like,
if you're there.
Yeah. If you're there and like, I can't even go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like it's like stage 5. It's like,
thankfully I'm out of those stages.
Yeah, man.
With my kids.
I just want to why don't you play with the Legos over there? Play with the Legos over there. Go ahead and get them out. Yeah, I'll get all those things out. So yeah, I can't really be in front of a camera unless that all stuff goes on. So what do you think, man? What do you think? What's your let's talk a little bit. I just want to do a little bit on Sheffield Wednesday. It's going to be I like that club kind of historically as a nerd in English football, like kind of like nerding out. I don't like him as a Leeds fan. But it's a Yorkshire derby.
Yeah.
Big rivalry. They're going to be thirsty. I don't even think they've gotten a point. This is they
lost in a shootout like we did. For the cup.
This is what do you call it? What's a game? Oh, man, what's the game like in the States when it's like
rivalry?
No, it's definitely a rivalry, but what's a game in the States when you're like not thinking that you're gonna lose? It's a trap game. I don't know. Is that it? It's it's a possible trap game, I guess. It's a game that we are so involved in the window and we have so many players.
You're easily overlook it.
It's a game that we can easily be overlooking.
Yeah, that's what I always fear with Leeds, because
they're going
every time you think they're going to just take them out, they don't.
This is a cup final for them. And unfortunately, we have so many new players that haven't been gelling. We've been probably focusing on the window. This is a game that we could, unfortunately, I think, drop points just because it's going to be throw the records out the window. Throw everything out the window. They're going to be, they have not won. They would love to come into Elland Road and pick up points. So I am a little bit like, I think at first it's going to be like, I just don't think it's going to be the walk in the park everyone thinks it's going to be.
No, I don't. I agree with you. I have a feeling they're not going to play necessarily great just because what you said, they haven't gelled. We have a lot of new pieces. It's going to take time for that to come together. But I do think the fans are going to be crazy. I think all that pent up, the window just closed. I think everyone's going to be relieved and excited and ready to go. So I think that's what's going to carry us over. I think we'll win, and I think a lot of it will just be the atmosphere. I think our players will push through any potential just hiccups in the game itself. I think they'll be fine, even if they go down a goal, which none of us would be shocked, right? If we gave up a fluke goal right off the bat. I think we'll be fine. I just don't think. I was telling my son this. I'm like, why can't we win 4-1 or 5-1 or? We never do. We never do.
It's just gonna.
And every time you think we will, like the cup game, everyone was predicting really high blowout score.
And it's just like
it doesn't happen.
Some stupid penalty, some stupid thing, get them one up. It's gonna be, and now it's like they're gonna be in a block, and we got to break them down for 80 minutes. I just think They are on minus. They have the worst point. They have 0 point. They're on 0 points. They have -5 goal difference. They are at the bottom of the EFL Championship. Yeah. So we should be winning this. It's going to be a Yorkshire derby. I just think. Luckily, it's at home. I think if we were going to their place, it might be a little bit more. I don't know, contentious and difficult. But I think it also could be a total celebration too, right? Of Leeds United, of the window, and
I think people will be really excited. I think all that tension is just going to be gone.
Like the first 20 minutes of the Ipswich Town game, like the first 20 minutes of that was just us just battering them with goal after goal, like 3-1 immediate response after going 1-0 down. Like could be like us just scoring 4 goals in the first half, having a laugh, like going on to try to score 6 or 7. That would be great. That would be,
wouldn't it? I would love to see it once.
Be like, we are a Premier League side in the championship.
Yeah.
What? Like
the last game I can remember where it was just super comfortable. I think it was Cardiff last year in the cup where we battered them really. I remember Willie had that amazing volley coming off the left side. He volleyed it out of the air.
The one I remember is maybe it was West Brom in the Premier League where it was like they scored an own goal, and then I think we went on to score 5. And like at the end of the game, Jack Harrison was just like teeing off from like just outside like the halfway mark. He scored an absolute scorcher.
Yeah.
And it was just
a game where you don't, even if it's not a high score, just a game where you're in control the whole time. You just know you're not going to lose. You're not worried.
Yeah,
I just want to
everybody can relax and play their game too. Like,
yes,
that's the thing about Perot, like Joel Perot. If like he's able to get 1 or 2, everybody else just kind of relaxes and does their own thing in the flow. Like, just have everybody cutting in and so. Anyways, that's all.
Let's do it.
I did want to get your kind of like thoughts on Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, we are obviously we will be the more talented squad. But it is going to be like a little bit of a rivalry. So I don't know, maybe it's even for the first 10, 15, and then hopefully we just, throw
I think it's too big of a task for them. I just cannot.
You think so?
Yeah. I'd be shocked if that would be a major
11 against 11. Yeah, we'll see. Like, I think hopefully our quality just.
I don't think it'll be easy. Like I said, I think there's a chance we won't play particularly well.
Mark, ding, 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 ding. Trap game. Thank you, my friend. It's a trap game. Could be a trap game. I don't know. I don't even know the phrase I was using. Trap game.
I think you did say trap.
I said something like that. I said, yeah, trap is. Heard Wednesday fans speak today. He has no faith in the club and painted a bleak picture. And again, Leeds does Leeds things.
Spot
Don't
on.
Don't say that, Mark. Don't say that. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the fans will be too much for him.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This is the American Leeds channel. Chris at Chris Fox 75. Give him a follow. You've been dipping in. I saw you're getting a little banter in with Lockie and
Andrea with basketball. Andrea's a huge Hooper fan.
Is he?
Hoops fan, yeah. So I'd like to talk to him about that.
Italy has a good squad, right? They have like this
decent, yeah.
FIBA.
They're in the World Cup right now.
World Cup of basketball is happening.
Yeah.
Where is that?
Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who did we send out there? College kids?
No, we've got pros. Not like your top of the line. I mean, there's a few.
Not LeBron
like
James.
Anthony Edwards. Yeah, you're not having LeBron. And yeah.
And is the Leeds owner out there? I forgot his name.
Who is it?
The Leeds United.
Russ Westbrook.
Russ Westbrook, and there's another
No,
one
he's not there.
plays for the Nuggets.
Yeah. Larry Nance Jr. for the Pelicans.
Yeah, Pelicans.
No,
Yeah. Neither of them.
these are mostly younger guys.
So younger guys, but
Yeah,
on
like
NBA squads.
Yeah. It's like second, third year players.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the FIBA World Cup is happening.
That's right.
That's cool.
Check it out. There's no Great Britain team. Guess they don't play basketball.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. Hey, you know what? I don't know. Well, I don't know. We can field. I guess we can field a team, but that's it. At least in soccer. What do you? What's your take on the USMNT? I've just been so disappointed since they rehired Greg.
I tweeted this out the other day. Yeah, I think the rehiring of Greg Berhalter has really deflated, I guess, my enthusiasm for the national team at the moment. I always support them, but I just think what's happening in Spain has magnified just the incompetence, somewhat level of corruption within our own federation. And it's just another example of how, it's kind of widespread. But we definitely have it here. And
yeah,
they could have went so many different directions. I'm just
broad topics,
just not excited about it.
In world football. What do you think Messi is doing to the MLS?
Making it more popular, which is not a bad thing.
I think I think just changing the game here. I think because we are so far behind tactically in the United States. I think
it's just a baby league, right? It's a baby league that needs to grow, and it is growing. It's no one should be comparing it to any of the big leagues around the world, but its rate of growth is pretty remarkable. Considering how young it is. There's a lot of money here. It's the fastest growing sport in the States.
It's the fastest growing sport in the States.
I think it will one day. Yeah, I think if you talk to a lot of people in the game that know the game, but they're like, watch out for the U.S. because it's a market that's just going to blow up.
What we need to understand is that's why we were both trying to recruit Lockie to come here, because we were so. I just think we are
far behind.
We always have athletes, but athletes aren't necessarily footballers.
Yeah.
But when you start to teach athletes how to play football, they become footballers or they become soccer players, whatever you want to say. And I think what Messi's doing, like there was a goal where the defenders did not float in and cover him. But that's because you could tell they just have never seen the kind of
they just were ball watching. Yeah.
They were ball watching and they've never seen this stuff before. You can tell they don't see this all the time. And what I was trying to tell actually a colleague of mine that does sports radio, that was like, look out for Sergio Busquets,
Busquets, yeah.
Busquets. He's doing what to the back line, what Messi's doing kind of that front side, because he's receiving the ball. He's becoming like part of a back three, like stuff that we see in the English, like in the Premier League all the time, but they don't see that in the MLS. So I just think he's changing the game here, and I think he's growing the game. But specifically, we won't see the fruits of that labor for 5-10 years, because I think tactically we're just so. And that's why we'll never really get out of the 16 in the World Cup. And then I think the big thing in the world football is this Saudi, man. I think it's Live Golf 2.0. I just think we'll see. They're gonna come up with some big signings again. Still, they've got a ways to go, and just limitless money. So it'll be like Mo Salah. Like, dang, man, you're getting some big play. You're getting some guys. It's not just some washed up.
How do you watch that? How do you watch them play?
I don't watch them. I haven't.
No, I know, but how can you watch? Can you watch them? It's like Live Golf. They were on. They weren't even televised on television here. So
you could probably find a way to watch them. I don't know. I have an interest really in watching.
No,
them,
I don't either. That's just I wonder how like big of a worldwide audience that league will have.
It's sports watching, man. I don't think they care. Like they're just trying to. I think they're just trying to become part of the conversation. Those 3, 4, 5 clubs that are going to be their top 5 or 6, and then they're absolutely going to go for like
yeah. I just don't know what the end game
Champions
is. I don't.
Or Super League.
Yeah.
The end game is just to when you think of Saudi Arabia,
because the U.S. has an end. They have a plan.
Saudi Arabia, you don't think of oil and you don't think of whatever.
Yeah.
You think of sports. That's what I think the long game. It's expensive to do that. And I think you also think of whatever. They're doing some other stuff with like architecture, greening, like the desert. They're doing some crazy stuff over there. And if you like look at the PIF, there's a journalist in the States that covers the PIF. And like it's just a ridiculous amount of resources that they're putting into this because it's not only that league and those clubs, it's Newcastle, it's the possible connection with Chelsea, it's, getting another big club in Europe. There's ambition for a Saudis to come into another, like whether it be La Liga or Serie A or another like European top 5 league. It's like, they're playing the slow game and they're spending a lot of money doing it. I think so I don't know.
Something to watch for, right?
It's something to watch for, but yeah, I don't know. All right. That's our time. Thanks for watching. Everybody. Be interesting 24 hours. If you
good chatting with you, Alex.
Good chatting with you, Chris. Follow Chris.
Big day tomorrow.
Watch Gier tomorrow. I'm endorsing Gier. I'll be probably watching him. I'll have like a little pod in or earbud in listening to Gier and Michael, and I think you'll have a few other guests. And let's get another left back. Let's get a 10. Dream big.
Dream.
All right. Night,
sounds
everybody.
good. Night.